Hey everybody, Josh Morris here. Joining me tonight, Bob Fountain from Spectral Tech, and he has brought some toys. This, of course, is the Everything Paranormal Show, and tonight we're going to be discussing like some ghost hunting tools that maybe you just didn't think of. You know, we often see on television and things like that, the K2 meters, which is your EMF, and of course you like your audio recorders. Sometimes we'll even see the SLS cameras. But we'll probably cover a little bit of everything. Who knows? But we want to cover some different type of ghost hunting tools. Maybe you just didn't think of, or just ones that, again, you just don't maybe see all the time either. So, hey Bob, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm doing fine. I'm all excited because I haven't done show and tell since like the third grade. So,
Yeah.
so this is my chance to redeem myself. Because
Yes.
I found out when you do show and tell, don't bring a 6-inch long lizard to class and let it get loose.
Right? Oh,
It was
man.
an exciting show and tell, but
I never had
a lot of
anything
people-
cool though. I don't think I can remember having anything like really cool to do for show and tell. I don't know.
yeah.
I don't think
And now
I
if you
did.
say something like, "I'll show you mine if you show me yours," you go to jail.
Yeah. I know you can't say that in school anymore, right?
No. Mm-mm.
Oh God. Well, so what do you think? What do you think about with ghost hunting tools in particular? What is it about the tools that you really like? I know you're a tech guy. You like to get different toys, if you will, like paranormal toys. So what's something that you like about those toys? Is it just to try to learn more, or why do you like to collect them?
Well, because I can afford to. Well, that's not the real reason. In different cases, depending on where you're going, if you're going to a place where no one's ever investigated and you're dealing with supposedly a history of spirits that's been around 200 years, they might not know what the equipment is. Then a tape recorder and pencil and paper might be all you need. But the more sophisticated spirits, it
Right.
seems, they like their own kind of equipment. Some, you'll go on an investigation and all of a sudden you get all kinds of K2 hits and you start communicating with that, and all your other equipment doesn't seem to work. And there's other places where the other equipment works and you get nothing on the K2s.
Right.
So just depending on the situation, it's almost like you have to wing it. You
Okay.
go to some place, and if your gear's just not working, get out some different gear and see if that does it.
Now,
But
I would say we probably could even go as far as to break gear down into different types of gear. I mean, certainly you have your ITC devices. You have ones that you're going to measure some type of energy, and then even all the way to dowsing rods, which would be a different form of a tool, and a little older school, I guess you will, as maybe non-powered, I guess, class.
yeah.
So let's get into it. What do you got for us? I want to see something. Cool.
Okay. Well, first of all, for some reason or other on my Skype, all it's got is a little picture of me up in the corner.
I'm still
And,
seeing you.
You can still see me?
I'm still seeing you.
Okay. I'm just so tiny I can't hardly see it. Okay, here's one that you probably haven't seen for a while. It's called a periscope.
That's cool.
What it does is, rather than look for a EMF detection, it looks for static electricity. The
Okay.
theory being that a lot of spirits, when they get close to you, all of a sudden the hair in your arms pick up.
Right.
And they create a static field. And what this thing does is it actually will generate a static field. Of course, the humidity here is like 70%, so it isn't going to work very well. But you stick that on the floor, and what it'll do is, if something's going from one side to the other, they'll light up accordingly, so you can see if a spirit's going from right to left to right, whatever it might be. We've
Okay.
used this in one case where one of our investigators walked past it, and it lit up, indicating which way he was walking. Well, within 2 seconds, it lit up again because something was behind him and walked past it.
Huh.
which also set off the K2 meter. So apparently they do work and they have their place. I would think that would be good if you was in a building where there wasn't much activity. It's kind of quiet. You can stick it on the floor and have one of the investigators just sit there and watch it.
Now, have you found that there's been less performance with higher humidity and things like that?
Yeah, on some pieces of equipment, because it affects of course, EMF is basically electricity and magnets, and temperature does affect that. So, yeah, some of the equipment doesn't work near as well if it's high humidity.
Okay.
Of course, if you're using a FLIR camera or one of those temperature devices, and the room is 50 degrees, you're not going to get too much that way either.
Right.
But how about laser grids? You want to see it? This here is one of the newer laser grids.
There we go.
New piece of equipment. Looks like an arcade machine. When you turn it on, it lights up, and what it will do is it sits there and looks at the environment in the entire room.
Nice.
It'll set up a laser grid that you can see. I don't know if you can see it on my hand or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it on
But
your hand.
after it gets done doing that, what it'll do is it'll sense if anything's moving in any proximity to it. Down at the bottom, it's got a little screen that'll tell you how many times something broke that laser grid. Now see it?
Nice.
Sounds like a video game too. But anyway, what it'll do is, like, if I'm moving right now, can you see the lighting on the grid?
Yeah,
I guess you can't.
it's little. I mean, it's coming over pretty washed out, but you can see it's definitely lit up right now.
Yeah, what it'll do is if something's moving in that grid from left to right or up and down, whatever direction it's going, this grid will light up showing which direction the stuff is moving. It'll also give you a temperature reading of what's going on crossing the grid. Plus it'll tell you, like I'm real close to it, it'll also tell you how many times something occurred. So you could set this in a room if you didn't want to actually try to interact with anything, and you could find out that, something broke that grid 6 times, 7 times, which might be a room you want to go in and do further investigation.
Right. Nice. Well, I mean, I like that because, see, right here, I've got just the classic laser grid, just pen style.
Green?
So,
green
yeah,
one?
just the green one. I don't think it'll show up behind me. It might show up a little bit behind me, or you can see it on my shirt. There we go. So,
Here's one.
So yeah, you can if you are trying to save money, you can get a small one like this, fairly affordable. It's got little keys in the back, and then now the one that the one that you were just showing, Bob. Which one's that? Like, what kind of cost factor or something like that?
On that one, it was let's see here. I'm trying to find it. I got all the prices that the stuff I've purchased.
Because I definitely like that laser grid that you got there. I have seen it. I've seen it once in action on another video, and it looked interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it right now. It might have been something new that I didn't put on this price thing.
Well, if not, you'll have to give me the name of it so I can look it up, and because I know my wife's gonna want that.
There's only a few reliable places out there that you can trust for some of this equipment. You'll have to look up the name on it. I got it somewhere.
So what else did you?
Anyway,
you had another one that you were getting ready to do.
Yeah, this is another laser grid.
Okay.
This is one without bells and whistles. It's a red laser grid, just like the other one was. So if you have that lit up in a room, you're going to need somebody to observe it. But the thing nice about this versus the green dots is on one of these square grids, you can actually see movement in 3-dimensional.
Right.
So it's just like a notch up, and then this newest one I got that I showed you first there, that's like having another investigator with you.
Right. Yeah, I definitely want that. Yeah, I've seen the Haunted Side paranormal group called the Haunted Side. they I've seen them use that, and it looked pretty neat.
You know, it's funny. I do this stuff, but I very rarely watch paranormal shows. Well, mainly, well, you know why, because we've discussed it in the past. I'm not in for the drama or the entertainment.
Right.
But what about an S-Box? Anybody got one of these or seen them yet?
I think raise it up a little more. Raise it up a little more. There you go.
There we go.
There you go.
Thing nice with an S-Box is it does make a lot of noise, just like the SB7, SB11. But the thing with it is it records as it's playing. So you can pull the little chip out and plug it back into something else and sit there and listen to the audio on it and see if you've picked up something that you missed during the investigation, which is kind of nice.
Yeah. Well, that's the one we just got, because now we have the SB11, SB7, and the S-Box. And so I don't know which one I like the best so far. That time will tell. We're going to... So far, the S-Box, so the only thing I didn't like about it is when it hangs. I'm not big on that spike pause that they've integrated into there. I think that kind of goes against the theory of what the Spirit Box is supposed to be, where you have that sweep rate, that constant sweep rate, but then when it hangs, it's like, well, what if you're getting that DJ or a broken piece of a DJ speaking? Well, if it hangs, you might get the full word, but is it paranormal? So that's the only...
Yeah, and then it's, oh my God, I just heard Elvis.
Right. So, that's the only drawback I have for S-Box so far that I've seen with just playing around with it. Like I said, we just got it, so I'll give it a chance. We're gonna check that out for sure.
That's what I do. If something just doesn't work for me, I give it to one of my members.
Here you go, try it. Try this.
You can have it. But anyway, and you've used the SB11, correct?
Yes. We've got that one, and we got the SB7.
I had the SB7 and I wore it out. Okay. What about a geophone?
Yeah, no, we don't have a geophone. You gotta bring that up, or bring that toward your face. So
I gotta try to turn it on. There we go. There. That's why I wanted to get the screen bigger, where I could see what I was doing. Now, see, that's picking up radiation from the computer screen.
Can you pull that back a little? See if it'll focus on that a little bit.
There.
Put your hand up.
It's so sensitive, you barely touch it.
There you go. When you raise your other hand up like that, Bob, it actually helps focus on the meter when you have your other hand up. Also.
This one?
Yeah, when your other hand's up there.
Okay.
So what all does this track on the geophone?
This actually is also an EMF detector, so it picks up EMF. It's super sensitive to motion.
Okay.
So, I mean, I've set this on a table and dropped the Q-tip, and see down there at the bottom, those lights? You just barely tap it and it'll light up.
Oh, okay.
So what's nice about that is if you've heard claims that there's footsteps, right above you, there's footsteps down the basement. You can take this meter with you, set it on the floor, and see if it does light up. We've done that. One person, they had footsteps supposedly in their attic. We stuck it up in the attic. Excuse me. We put it up in the attic, and when they heard footsteps downstairs, that thing was lighting up upstairs, but there was nobody up there.
Right. Now, so that would probably work really well with like a static camera on it, right? So like if you put it like you're talking about in a room where supposed footsteps and you had like a static cam, because I would imagine you probably wouldn't really want to be in the same room a whole lot with it because you might set it off, as sensitive as it is. But a static cam, you could probably pick that up, right?
Absolutely. One of the things we had that on once, one of our clients kept on saying there's a little kid jumping up and down on the bed. Right. She feels movement on her bed every night. Well, we, in junction with the SLS camera, we laid that geophone on the bed, and when we saw the little stick figure person on her bed, that geophone lit up as well. So it was detecting actual movement Then we seen the stick figure of this little kid jumping up and down on the end of the bed,
Right.
which is kind of neat.
I'm writing some of this stuff
Yeah.
down. I'm actually going to take some notes because there's a few things that I want to look into for myself. Like I said, see, when I was investigating, when my wife and I used to investigate, we had just the, like the night vision cameras and audio, and there wasn't they didn't really develop all this extra cool tech that they have now. So now that we're getting back into the field, it's really cool to see all the new tech and see what different options there are.
Yeah, well, the other last week or week before last, he was talking about the Angel phone and the Angel box. I'm trying to look into that to see, where that would apply to some of the stuff we do. There's some teams that all they do is they use psychics, and they try to do it that way. But a lot of the clients don't care that you sensed that there's a presence there and it talked to you. They want to see hard data.
Right. Now, so I did bring the Angel phone to show everybody as well, because that is it is kind of unique. This isn't something you see all the time, and of course we got the SB7 connected up to it right now. But yeah, I mean this is very unique, but it helps to cut down that noise, and it kind of cleans up the spirit box a little bit and adds some reverb to it. And it channels through a lot of crystals and copper and stuff. So it's pretty neat. And there's also an EM pump on here. So thought we'd go ahead and show that again.
Yeah, I got an EM pump, but I just rarely use it. Anyway, you ever heard of a V-Pod?
V-Pod.
It's like a REM pod, but about half the cost.
Nice.
What it does is when you turn it on, half the stuff took the batteries out of. It creates an electronic field around it. That's pretty much what a REM pod does.
Right. I was gonna say, sounds like a REM pod.
Now the thing is this got another bell and whistle on it. If I push the button on the bottom of it here, now instead of that squeaking sound,
nice. You get music with it.
Rather than increase that screeching sound, it's good for playing music. Now, can you imagine a little child spirit out there, and you tell it to put the hand next to it, and that god-awful screeching sound goes, that's the last time it's going to happen.
Right.
If you stick this up there and say that you can play your own music by sticking your hand on it, it's more of a trigger for them to get more involved and get closer to the piece of equipment.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, my wife said she wants a REM pod. Do you recommend V-Pod over the REM pod?
Well, the REM pod, once again, all it does is just make sound, screeching sounds. The V-Pod, it's almost like that old game Simon Says.
Right.
Where you get all the different sounds, though.
It does. It kind of sounds like that a little bit.
Yeah. So you can tell a little child, like I said, if you want to touch it so that you can play music on it, it'll draw the child's spirit closer to you. So it's got just an additional factor than the REM pod.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I think that's cool. Yeah, see, God's Warrior ITC, he said, how's my Bristol buddies doing this evening? We're doing good. We're covering some stuff. I didn't get a chance to say hi to Jennifer Atwell. She popped in. Of course, Polly B earlier was making a comment of me being an evening tech. But hey, everybody. It's good to see everybody. I'm glad you all are popping in. Hopefully you're enjoying seeing some of these awesome toys and gadgets that Mr. Bob Fountain has provided for us today. And because this is a lot of things that people don't always think about when they go out to start ghost hunting. They just think about the normal, like, audio recorders and K2 meters and video cameras and stuff. Sometimes they don't really see all this other cool little stuff. So but yeah, I'm excited because I'm taking notes. All right, because sometimes now some of these things, like, I've heard of, some of them I've seen in action a little bit, but to really get somebody showing different little things and what they do and the little functions of them, I mean, that's awesome. That's why I'm taking notes. So all right, so we're up to the V-Pod. And you said the V Pod, you might look at having that advantage because of the music tone and stuff like that, and cost wise, right? So
Yeah, because it's cheaper.
and
But
and Tatalaga popped in there too. Hi. All right. So go ahead, Bob. What do you got for us next?
did you introduce this as the late night talk show with Josh Morris?
I did introduce it earlier.
How many people's got the Ovilus? Let's see. How's this work?
Over
There we
here.
go.
There you go. Back up just a little
This-
bit. There you go. There you go. The
Ovilus
Ovilus.
5. Yep.
Which Ovilus is this?
This is 5. You can't get 3 anymore unless you go out like on eBay or someplace like that. And they had some problems with their screens as far as I was concerned. This has got in fact, let me turn it on if I can
So
figure out what
Ovilus
to do.
5.
I don't use it very often. There's a button here. There we go. See, it's got a touch screen now, which the other one didn't really have. You just had to push buttons on it. And supposedly it still has a couple thousand words in there that could be used. But
Yeah, you
I'll
might have
use
to
it.
you might have to try to put that toward the center of your screen. Like you know what I
Okay.
mean? Because I think the auto blur is trying to blur it out. So yeah, that's the only bad thing about the auto blur. Try toward your face, like back up. There you go, right in there. There now people can
That's
kind of see it.
not only that, it covers me.
Right.
Like I told you, 72. Unless you got professional lighting, you're gonna look like a bookkeeper.
So do you like the 5? My wife wants to know. She said, do you like the 5?
I like it better than the 3, but I didn't really like the 3 that much either. But I did like the 5 better.
Okay.
You know, it'll do. You'll be out there asking questions. It'll blurt out with a word, and I have to constantly caution the team members. If it's specific to what you just asked, then you can probably think about it. But if you're sitting there walking along and all of a sudden it spits out the word tree, everybody's going, "What about a tree?" If
Right.
they hang by a tree, they start speculating on what that could possibly mean. Most likely, it means absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I mean, and it can be hard because when you hear that, your natural tendency is to investigate that word, like, are they giving us a message, versus,
Yep.
hey, I'm trying to find intelligent responses. So yeah, I mean, I can see it's always tough sometimes to squelch those natural urges to just follow on every word.
I try to squelch them as much as I can. I don't think I turned this one. Well, maybe not. One of the things I found that's hard to do is convince all the team members to turn off everything when we wrap up at night. So I go through a lot of batteries. This thing here, it's another version of the K2 meter. Actually, it's called a Rook.
Nice. That's
And
cool.
it picks up EMF, but it picks up a different frequency. It more or less picks up stuff from appliances, TV, stuff like that. Not just random EMF floating around.
And
So
that's-
we'll use this along with the other EMFs to figure out, could this possibly be a radio signal, somebody's phone, anything could possibly be man-made. But this thing will light up if I get close to the computer.
Yeah, that's really cool. God's Warrior ITC said, "Have you ever tried the app?" Are we talking about the Ovilus app? Is that what we're talking about? Which app? Oh wait, I have the app. Let me look. He might have been talking about the Ovilus app.
I don't trust those apps very much.
Yeah, I mean, any app out there, it's really hard to say because, again, is there secret coding in there? They can say that there's certain channel banks and certain phonetic sounds and like, oh, there's no words, but how do we really know that? So again, there's always a lot of debate on apps. So I would say some apps like the Afterlight box that Terry Lynn and I use for the Angel phone, again, you got to kind of take it with a grain of salt. It's like you want to look for intelligent responses, not just hang on every word you hear. So again, it's going to be, but I think one of the points that even Bob makes and other people have made in the industry is, cross validation. Sometimes it takes a few devices to kind of back each other up to see if you're getting valid responses, and not just putting all your money into one device and saying, hey, this device has given me a definitive answer. Sometimes you need a couple devices to give you. A lot of times we'll even use dowsing rods with like the Angel phone, or with a Spirit Box session, or with audio recorders. I mean, different devices going at once, just to see if we do get multiple things across the board. Would you agree with that, Bob?
Absolutely. One of the apps that I always used to find interesting, in fact, I figured it was entertainment, pure entertainment, but I used to love to get it to people who thought they knew what was going on in the paranormal. Remember Ghost Radar?
Ghost Radar.
For your phone?
the Ghost Radar, like the app.
Yeah.
Like those Ghost Radar.
Scan around in circles and come up with words. And I just tell them, you got to try this on your phone, and then they leave me alone for a while. I guess I was mean, wasn't it?
No, that's okay. It's okay to be mean every once in a while to some of these people. What do you got? All right, bring it to the center. Bring it to the center.
There we go.
There you go.
See, I wish I had a bigger. I got that little 1-inch by 2-inch screen over in the corner here, so I can't see what I'm doing. Heck, I'm half blind as it is. But yeah, this is a FLIR camera.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes. A FLIR camera.
Sit there and scan stuff and take pictures of it. You can store the pictures. It'll store up to, well, I've had 70 on here at one point. See if my cats were actually dead or just playing dead. But yeah, it's a nice piece of equipment. Not cheap, but if you're in some place where it's really, really dark and somebody thinks they see something, this does come in handy.
Yes, I'm definitely jealous of that. I've been wanting. My wife and I have been talking about thermal for a long time, and FLIR, of course, is really one of the top brands. They do some of the best. So I'm definitely jealous of that. My wife is too. She's like, "Oh my God, I want that."
And I know you're getting involved with these.
Yep.
You can probably tell what that is already.
Yep, the SLS Connect camera.
SLS. Yeah, that's the SLS camera from Connect.
And if anybody wants to build one, I just released a do-it-yourself video on how to build your own SLS camera for under $200.
Which is good, because this one cost about $400. And if you get some of them that aren't the Connect version of it, they run anywhere from $1,100 to $1,200.
Now, does yours run on the Windows 10 or is the Windows 8?
Windows 10.
Okay, yeah. I had found out how to do that, so I was lucky, because I found some tutorials out there that were like telling me, like, oh, you gotta downgrade to 8.1 and all this stuff, and apparently they didn't know, So yeah. I learned how to do that, and so mine's Windows 10.
Even as fun as that is, there's two places out in my workshop here where I got like a drill press,
right,
and a bandsaw. If I shine that camera over there, I get a stick for a person every time, because the shapes that it's picking up apparently mimic the shape of a bipedal person,
right,
and it'll show a person. So whenever something lights up in an investigation, one of the first things we do is we try to see if it'll acknowledge that it is a entity. Like, can you raise your right hand, or can you do this, or can you do that? And we'll try to get another investigator close by to where it's at,
right,
to see if we can see their shape. Because if a human, we actually get the outline of the infrared.
Well, and that's really good, and that's what we talked about, that validation, because
yeah.
You're right though. One thing I've already noticed with the Connect camera is it will definitely try to create that skeletal, that stick figure on a lot of things, but you really want to try to get some type of actual intelligence out of it versus just just the technology trying to lock on and create a stick figure on a lamp post or something. So just to catch up a few little comments real quick. Hi, Spirit Seekers. Spirit Seekers Parrot Nolan popped in there. I guess God's Warrior ITC, we must have been hitting the mark because he kept saying yes. So apparently, yes, we were hitting the mark when we were asking him the questions. So we did good apparently. And
well, that's a nice change of pace.
Right. And then Polyb 1123 said, "Great idea, Bob. I like that app." Of course, my wife was saying that we needed that FLIR. So let's see. I see you see me. Hey, how you doing? She said that she liked the do-it-yourself or camera video. Thank you. I appreciate that. Anytime you guys can share that kind of stuff to help people out there to where they can build that. And I provided all the links for all the parts. And I told people, listen, the parts and the links, if you add up the prices, that's going to be over $200. No, I didn't cheat. But you got to remember, I'm providing links to people that may not have access to eBay or other things. These are all Amazon links, and they're through my affiliation. So yes, technically all those links are going to be like around $250. But we actually went to eBay. We got the RCA Windows tablet, 10.1 inch for cheaper than $140. There's a few little parts here and there that we were able to find a little cheaper. There's a couple things I already had, so you got to remember, you can keep it under $200, but you need to shop around also. And then let's see, Jennifer Atwell says, "I always used my cell phone to do my own personal or paranormal investigations in my house, but I don't know how accurate it is." Laugh out loud. So when you say that you use your cell phone to do your own paranormal investigations, I mean, obviously, if you're using video, it's going to be as accurate as any other camera. If you're using the Memo app for recording, it's just like any other audio recorder. You can capture EVPs on that Memo app if you want to record and do an EVP session. Now, if you're using apps off the cell phone, like cell phone apps, like Ghost Radar and things like that, then that's when we're going to be like, no, don't fall for some of that. So, but you can use the record, your audio recorder and video recorder on it. Absolutely.
By the way, on that FLIR camera, if any of the people listening are interested, out on one of our members, we have an actual website for the team. But one of our members, she has her own Facebook page for Spectral Tech Paranormal Investigations. She's
Right.
more into the Facebook kind, so she's got all kinds of clips of us using the SLS camera. So if anybody wants to see some of them, she's got them where we had a little girl sitting down, one of our investigators would get behind it. I think she has the one of the little child jumping up and down on the bed. But she's got quite a few things out there on her Facebook page.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I try to have some links to your guys' stuff too. You know that, Bob. So hopefully I'll try to get some more links for you guys if you need them. If you're watching this later, maybe I'll have some more links for the Facebook and the spectraltech.org down at the bottom. They got some really good evidence you definitely want to check out. I think, also God's Warrior ITC asked, how much is the Angel phone going for? My wife's the one that bought it. I'm surprised she didn't ask you or just tell you in the chat. But I believe it was either like $360 or $380. And so for the price, now I did a whole video talking about it, so you might want to check that out. But for the price, I mean, there's some other ones out there that are like $700-800 that do about the same thing. So that's one thing I like about Philip. Did try to make one that was a little more affordable. That was one of his goals when he talked about in one of his videos, is he was trying to do something a little more affordable. And Bob will tell you, some of this stuff here is not cheap. Some of these devices that he has are not cheap.
Oh yeah, I did a list for when we was at the Elder Realm Festival where I met you.
Yeah.
And we had a booth just answer questions from people and show them how some of the equipment worked. And so I put up a list of all the things I bought over the years and how much they cost. And when I looked at the bottom, I immediately hid it from my wife.
Yeah, I bet. Well, the funny thing is, my wife is the one buying all the equipment. I keep telling her slow down on buying equipment. So, I don't know. I don't know what's worse, right? The wife that is not involved, or the one that's my partner in crime. So we both want equipment. That's the bad thing. So we've already spent a lot of money here in the last few months. That's for sure.
What's funny about it, you have all this equipment, and there's some investigations where you might use two pieces because you're getting so much communication with them.
Yeah.
The other thing that bothers you is all the friggin' batteries that you got to pull out when you're done if you're not going to investigate, anytime soon. Then putting them all back in, checking them all before you start out. It takes me an hour and a half to get all this equipment to make sure that all the batteries are fresh and charged up, what needs new ones, what needs replaced. So that's kind of the downside of it.
Oh, I know. And I can even just attest to some of that, because even just right here in the one paranormal bag, we got this. We got things like a 16 pack of AA batteries. We got another pack of AAA batteries. We got 9 volts. We got, and you almost have to buy batteries by the bulk just as backup. Some of it's obviously rechargeable equipment, but we do have some that are dual. So I got some lighting and things like that can be recharged, but also you can use regular batteries for backup in case you have battery drains or something, things like that. But yeah, Bob, you're right. Batteries and just trying to remember to go through and do it. And I don't even have near as much equipment as you, but we're starting to get enough to where it's like, God, I gotta charge this. I gotta charge that. I gotta charge this. Oh my God, this takes 4 batteries. This takes 8 batteries. This takes. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to look at the other junk I got sitting over here. Of course, everybody has a tape recorder, right? We don't have to go over that. Everybody's got a tape.
Terry Lynn asked, "What was the name or what was the model of that FLIR camera?" She wants to go shopping again.
Yeah, but then you'll never talk to me again.
I'm like, no, Bob. No,
it's actually the FLIR is the brand name for it.
Right. Yeah, FLIR is the people that manufacture. They're like I said, they're pretty top of the line for what they do.
Oh yeah, I think there's a saying in the paranormal world. If you're into paranormal, nothing's under $100.
That's true. I don't even think my audio recorder was under $100.
Wristwatch recorder. People have any of those?
Other than my Apple Watch.
You can't carry enough recorders with you. I found that out, and you regret it when you have to do data review. But I usually have a wrist recorder on that I turn on right as I'm walking into the client's house or the business or whatever. I just leave it on the whole time I'm there, because that way I get anything new that they thought to tell us that they didn't tell us before. If there's an entity out there that actually wants to communicate, it's not going to wait for us to gather around a circle and do an EVP session. It's going to start yelling at you and walk in the door.
Right.
So I keep one of these wrist things on. And
well, no, that's really smart too. That's really smart because, yeah, like you said, it's not like it's just a set time. Like, okay, ready, go. Now you can commence in paranormal.
Yeah, I try to be smart. That was one of my sayings I used to tell people. I only look stupid. But anyway, here's my favorite toy.
Hey,
Boo Buddy.
It's the Boo Buddy, and the Boo Buddy's on the thumbnail for the show. So look at that.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, on the back of this thing, I get just as much interaction with supposedly grown-up entities as I do with children with this thing.
Yes, definitely tell the people what all the Boo Buddy does, because this thing is pretty cool.
I'm turning on his backpack right now.
Now this thing is not cheap. This thing is not cheap, folks. So
No.
just keep that in
But it
mind.
does.
This is not like your
No,
normal teddy bear.
See, it has a little backpack, and that's the power supply that goes into all the equipment that's in him. Because it's just not a teddy bear. Let me turn this dude on. What you'll see, he's acclimating right now, but he's got sensors in both hands. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
They should be up. Are they lighting up?
Yeah, I see the one with your hand
Yeah,
is
there's-
lighting up. I don't see the one on the
Then
other.
Then in his belly, he's got a green light. But what he does is the sensors in his hands are EMF detectors.
Nice.
So,
Hi, I'm Boo Buddy. What's your name?
did you hear him?
My name's Josh.
Yep. Every 40 seconds, he'll ask a question.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That's not that $79 one you were looking at.
Yeah, that was like Boo Buddy Junior, like
Yeah.
minimal model. Like that might as well just be a stuffed animal.
But this thing here, if anything touches it or gets close to it and breaks that field it has, it'll actually inform you of it by just saying, "I like being tickled." Or
Did you say something? Could you please say it again?
there's another
Nice.
thing.
See, I like that. That's cool.
It'll say, "Did you just make it cold in here, or did you make it warm?" If the temperature changed within 5 degrees very quickly.
Really?
So it picks that up. Like I said, if anyone moves it or touches it, it says, "I like holding hands with you," or "I like being tickled." So it means something's actually moved it.
Wow. So it actually
So-
has an intelligent response to whatever the sensors are
Yeah.
detecting. It will have a response for that to try to interact automatically
Plus-
with a spirit. That's pretty awesome.
It just said, "Did you make it warm in here?" That's because my hands are sitting over here by the sensor, the heat sensors. One of the things I do with Boo Buddy is, I don't know if you can see on his foot here, that's another wrist recorder.
Right?
I just attach it around his ankle here, turn it on, and just stick him in a room.
Nice.
It's like having an entire investigator sitting out there. Like I said, if it's a case where you think it might be children involved, you can stick this in a room. And we've had a lot of cases where there's several interactions about being tickled,
Right.
or did you make it warm in here?
Aw, thanks. I like holding hands with you.
See, I've been banging it around. So it's like holding hands with me, because it's detecting the motion. But it's like having an extra investigator.
So now you said that you actually get a lot of adult responses from it,
Yes.
just as much as children, huh?
In fact, where I got at this community center, they had something going on there, and it said, "Do you want to be my friend?" I'll just leave it on so it can play in the background here. Creeps out some of my people. If they're in some place by themselves, all of a sudden this starts going off.
Right.
It got warm in here.
But anyway, we was at this community center, and it said, "Do you want to be my friend?" And the K2 meters were going off. And when I listened to the recorder later, it says, "I do." It was a man's voice that says, "I do," to be its friend. We was at another place where we took it upstairs, and we had it in this one room. It was a child's bedroom. We just stuck it in there just to see if there was anything up there.
Right.
And we got a male voice saying, "This is a toy." So, I mean, it draws curiosity. It's like a trigger object, a K2 meter, a heat sensor, motion.
That tickles.
Shut up.
Nice.
The
Well,
only thing bad is, like, if you got 6 hours of recording on it,
right.
every 40 seconds you're going to hear a response. And sometimes you won't get the answer till like a few seconds before the next answer. So you got to sit there and listen through all that. And just looks like a heartbeat on your software that you're
on the
recording.
sound wave.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but that thing's cool though. I mean, I gotta say, like, out of the different devices that are out there, that one's pretty unique. I think it's really cool how they integrated the technology of whether it's temperature change or something touching it or things like that. And then with you putting the recorder on, that's a really great extra feature that you've added to that.
Yep.
And I think, maybe they would add that in the future. Maybe they should add a recording function to it. Not that I should think it's more expensive because it's like $360.
That would happen.
It'd be like
And some is another $100.
Right.
But the thing, that's one of the things I look for is equipment that I can use it in various ways.
Perfect. Thanks for making it warmer.
See, it's still talking about the heat. That's because I got it under a lamp right now. But when you have a piece of equipment like that, you can use it as a K2 meter.
Right.
You can use the REM pod basically because it's going to sound off if it interacts with something. So it has multiple tools all going on at the exact same time. Plus, you might get communication through your digital recorders later on. So yeah, if you got equipment that could double up to do other things, you get more bang for your buck.
Now, I don't have anything to top that because that Boo Buddy's awesome. But I did bring a couple more little things to show people real quick. And one of those things that people can use, and they're not, believe it or not, sometimes people freak out about the cost. And just like Bob was talking about, yes, the cost of tech can be very expensive. So sometimes you got to find clever ways to gather evidence, but also maybe save some money. And this right here is trail cam. And what's really cool about these trail cams is because they're specifically designed to come on for motion, and they're not a camcorder, but you can get some very good quality recording from trail cams. And what's cool about these, you can strap them up, you can set them down. They got a little tripod mount on the bottom, and they are motion activated. They have infrared for nighttime. So it's really cool for investigations. You can put these trail cams up in certain places, and it's not quite like having a static cam, but it's good to, when you're looking for certain things that might trigger these. So I think trail cams are another little and cheap, effective way to also capture some evidence. Would you agree on that? You like trail cams, Bob?
I haven't used one, but I'm always afraid that I'm going to see a close-up of Bigfoot and the investigation's over.
Well, I guess if you're out in the woods, yeah, for sure. I think the trail cams, you can use them anywhere. That's what's really cool about them. I got one more thing here. Also, I think is kind of a nice little idea for some people too, and that is just a nice little baby monitor. Believe it or not, now I'm not talking about the fancy ones that you can get. This is just a plain old VTech. It's just a straightforward baby monitor.
A, B, C, D.
That's funny. But yeah, so the baby monitor. See, and then the Boo Buddy was talking about the ABC. Anyways, that was cute. But the baby monitors really are good for sticking something in a room, kind of like what you were talking about, Bob. I can imagine probably using this with a geophone and a static cam. Where you could have the baby monitor in there listening for noises. You could have the geophone sitting there for vibrations, and have a static cam to pick any of that up. So this is just ways you can use different devices together. But baby monitors, especially basic ones like this, are another affordable way to get some good equipment for hunting, ghost hunting.
Yeah, one of the pieces of equipment I had that I won't use anymore at all. I don't even think I put it over here. Anyway, it's one of those motion-activated alarms. Supposedly you stick it in a room if something crosses the infrared path that sets the alarm off. Okay. And how many times do you think you forget that you stuck it in that room? And as you're going through that room again, and it's on, it just scares the bejesus out of you.
Right.
So some people use them. I prefer not to.
Right.
Because I'm old. I could have a heart attack.
Yeah, and what the music box ones from Paraforce or whatever, the music box, where it's got the motion sort of trigger and the music box. Now I've seen that with Al and with SRS Paranormal. Al was in the chat earlier. We've seen that. They've used that. That's pretty nice, and it gives a nice creepy effect when the music goes off all of a sudden. That is kind of nice in a way. But those are like $300 some too. It's like for a motion sensor and a music box. So we kind of held off on that.
Yeah, I've got another device. It's called a hidden trigger object proximity trigger, and basically you just attach a wire from this trigger object to something metallic, and if anything touches it, it sets it off.
Right.
It just sets off an alarm. Well, that's all fine and well if the thing that you're trying to use as a trigger object is metallic.
You know what time it is?
But what I did is I got some copper wire, so I can use it on anything now. So let's say there's been activity, and they say it's this little wooden car. It constantly gets moved here and there, and the owner says, they think it's a child with it or something. I can wrap that wire around it, hook it up to that one little device, and then if anything touches that little wooden object, they also touch that wire, it sets it off. Right. So that way I can make almost any piece of item as a trigger object.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good idea. Anytime you can come up with clever little ways to detect stuff like that and to ghost hunt, I mean, I'm definitely down for that, because I love, again, I'm kind of that balance. Like I like it. It depends on what I'm going to, but if you're going to go to somewhere and you want to just full on investigate, and I think another thing too, and Bob, you and I have talked about this, and a few other people as well, but you have a plethora of equipment, but you're not going to probably use it all, and sometimes things work better than others. So what may work for one situation, you might have a spirit that will light up a K2 meter and give you intelligent responses, but maybe in the next place you go to, they may not do that for a K2. They may they may be more responsive to, say, dowsing rods, or showing up on EVPs or something, or on auto recorders as EVPs.
Well, sometimes in entity, if you've been to the place multiple times and they get more comfortable with you, they'll use a different device that they can communicate more clearly with you.
Right.
So like at first it might be a K2 meter, next thing you know, they're talking like a little kid on a tape recorder or digital recorder.
Now, Al was saying, I wonder how he was talking about the baby monitors. He said he's looking into that. He likes that idea as well. And he said he was wondering how the ones with video would work. I mean, you could get the ones with video. I'm sure that would be just as good too. Because usually they actually have the IR. Most of those baby monitors have the IR. So if you wanted to have, it'd really just be like setting up a little live view for an IR cam, static cam or something, really. So that could work too. I guess it just depends on your budget. We got the audio ones just to save a little money and try that out. But I think, we may get ones with video too. That's certainly a good idea.
Well, I got IR cameras, 2 of them. It's a split screen type monitor situation.
Right.
And now we've set that up in different places and used it, but sometimes we get unique results. Nothing shows up on camera other than our orbs that are pretty much pieces of dust or insects.
Right.
But what I find interesting is if I listen to the audio from those cameras, it's like having a digital recorder. I've gotten 4 or 5 cases where we got more off the camera, the IR camera audio, than we did with the digital recorders.
Yeah. I gotta say, I got this stupid little gnat flying around in my studio. It's driving me crazy, folks. I'm just telling you. So if you see me kind of been moving around tonight, it's because I got this freaking gnat. It's driving me crazy.
Oh, big deal. You got a gnat. I got raccoons.
Oh, I can't compete with raccoons, oh Bob. I got a net. He's got freaking rabies killers in it. I'm just kidding. I know you like your raccoons. That's cool.
They come in every night. But
That's
I'm
cool.
looking forward. Probably next month, the babies will come in and start climbing up my leg wanting sugar cookies. But
I think that's
and
cool.
They do carry rabies, so
Yeah, I know, but I think raccoons are cool like that. I mean, I'm a little jealous on that one. But all right, so back to the equipment. Now, do you have any other equipment, or are we're gonna start covering some normal stuff?
that's pretty much the stuff that other people don't have.
Yeah.
Gee, have you ever seen one of these?
Now is that
The old-
the China one, or is that the one made in the U.S.?
This is the U.S. one. Yeah, the China one, I ain't got enough wipes to deal with. But yeah, so like I said, some of my equipment, it serves dual purposes.
Now I've got for my EMF right now. I'm not using the I'm using the Cambridge Labs one. Or was my wife and I joke around and call it the pregnancy test or something. This one here, I don't know if I'm going to get any other readings on it, but I was trying to see if I can pick up any readings. But it's got the green light, yellow light, red light. So much like a K2 meter, it has lights that you can try to have a spirit remove, and it's going to give you electric. It's going to give you an electric field reading and a magnetic field reading. So that's
like
what's.
5 meters.
So it's really nice though. I do like it. It works pretty good. I've used it one time so far, and so I'm looking forward to using it also more in the field. So again, that's an alternative to K2 meter. It'll save you about $10. But if you really want to go for the K2 look, we may still get a K2 meter anyways.
That's a tri-field meter. That's the newer ones, the version 2.0.
Right. The fancy ones. They're not
It's
the
kinda
ones with
like- Yeah, it's kind of like a K2 meter on steroids, basically. But yeah, I decided to pick up one of these because they're very, very sensitive, and they can pick up stuff that you don't find on it. K2 meter, you got 5 colors you're looking at.
Right.
The only thing nice there for validation, you can ask an entity, can you get it to yellow, or can you get it to green or to red, or whatever you want. And if it goes to there, that's kind of nice. This thing here, the only problem with the tri-field meter, you can't be moving around with it.
Right.
Because even your hand and the movement from your hands set it off. So it's super sensitive. So you got to use it, but you got to use it in selected areas for it to have any meaning whatsoever.
Yeah, I need to write tri-field down too. We do need to probably get us a tri-field meter soon. It's not a huge priority for us right now, but yes, I would definitely recommend if you're going to be investigating on a regular basis, get a tri-field, folks.
Tell me what 2 plus 2 is?
That Boo Buddy's awesome. I love
It
it.
just asked, can you tell me what 2 plus 2 is? And I got an entity at that community center.
Right.
It said 4.
Nice.
And
See,
clear
I
as a
think
bell,
that's,
said 4.
that's why I love this thing. I love that how it will ask those questions and you can get those answers. You can get those responses. I think that's cool. I really do. The Boo Buddy by far, it's my favorite. I would say I would rather have a Boo Buddy over a FLIR camera, most likely. That's how cool it is.
Oh, I like holding your hand with you.
After a while, it gets irritating. But yeah, we've used this a lot, and I do get a lot of responses from it,
Right.
which makes it an ideal tool.
Now, audio recorders. For myself, I use the Zoom H1N right here. This is what I use for audio recording.
I don't know.
I like it. I've gotten some EVPs from it. Some people say that high quality video audio recorders don't give you EVPs, but the Zoom H1Ns, I think they're really good. You have to listen. Now, I will agree on one thing. I do think there's a lot of paranormal investigators that will tell you the old equipment works the best. And I got to agree to that to a point. I mean, there's a lot of older equipment that does work really well. But then it also makes you wonder, is it because there's more static or more pixelation in audio stuff and video stuff to where we're having more pareidolia and all that stuff, or audio? Are we matrixing more because of the older stuff versus some of the newer stuff? But then again, I've seen some evidence captured on some of the newer stuff, and I have caught EVPs on the new recorder as well. So I don't know. I think there's something in between there to talk about on that.
Well, see, most of the EVPs that are on our website is off the Olympus recorders, which are middle of the road, and I've gotten several off these wrist recorders. So I don't know if it's a matter of the old stuff worked better or they didn't want to mess with the new stuff, because some of it gives you a friggin' headache trying to figure out how it works.
Now, I will say, too, my wife did say in the comments that she said that we got to do an investigation together sometime.
One of these days.
Yes, one of these days.
Well, I always wanted to go to Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. But then, it kind of closed down for that scandal that was going on with it. And now it's back opened again, but it opened with a cost.
Right.
See, that's close to your area. I'm over in just north of Memphis, so there's not much going on around our area. I'm trying to get into right now, it's an old theater. Supposedly a little girl fell off a balcony in the 1800s and died. She runs around the whole town square there.
Tell me a secret?
And we're trying to get back in there. But one of the problems with that is the board of directors, I think, is a bunch of little old ladies. They don't want the notoriety. That's where you run into some problems. Some people love that you've investigated them and you've published it in an article or something, because they'll show their friends seeing I wasn't nuts. But then there's other people who don't want anyone to know that they're having that kind of a problem.
Yeah, and that's absolutely true. That's one thing that people forget about, is that not everybody wants people to know that you're investigating, or they there's a couple different ways on that. There's one where you got some people that want answers, they want an investigation, but they don't want other people to know that you're investigating. They want to keep it secret. And then there's some people like you're talking about that are just against it, and they don't want that kind of notoriety, period. They don't want you to come in and be associated. They don't want that paranormal activity associated with that location.
Yeah, there's some religious affiliations where if you did that, they'd probably try to burn you at the stake.
Right.
But yeah, that's one of the things that you have to, part of that training I teach is you need to get on the same page as they are right up front before you do anything. Me especially, because I write. So I'm writing all those articles all the time. I got to be careful. Like, and for one case, I just said there was a young child that lived at the house. Well, most likely she was involved with the poltergeist activity. But you don't want to bring that up because you could cross a line there you really don't want to. So you got to be very, very careful about what the client actually wants.
Now, a couple things we're going to talk about a little bit. We're going to get away from some equipment, talk about some different things. I know Al was talking about that they just booked that for August. So I'm assuming he's talking about that place in Pennsylvania. Is that right, Al? And then they also said along with Hales Bar Dam. So now I know that myself and Al was talking about doing a little side venture coming up. I know he's going back to work, but we're gonna have to coordinate a time, Al, because we're talking about going to the Gates of Hell. That's right, folks. There is a Gates of Hell, and it's a Gates of Hell cemetery. We are talking about going to there. We haven't really set it in anything in stone yet. Now, one announcement that I want to let everybody know. Actually, when are you guys going to Pittsburgh? By the way, do you know, Al, when you guys are going? Because honestly, what's really crazy is I wanted to announce that I'm going to be going to Pittsburgh this weekend. So, for those of you that are in the Pittsburgh area, I will be out there. I will be out there. And I'm going to be doing some filming. Now, I can't tell you where I'm going to be because I don't want you to come out there and try to mess up my footage. All right? Don't need that. Bob's choking Boo Buddy over there.
He's not going to be speaking anytime soon.
Right. But yes, I'm actually going to be going to Pittsburgh this weekend for some filming, some opportunities up there. So, guys, that's one of the announcements I wanted to make tonight while we were doing this. Also, another big announcement that I wanted to do, and probably some of you, either if you've watched my little preview live stream earlier, or if you've been paying attention during this entire show and you look down here down below at the banner, you will notice that not only does it say the Everything Paranormal Show and to please subscribe, hopefully you guys did, but also that we're sponsored by Paranormal Underground Magazine. That's right. So there you go. And Bob just so happens to write for the Paranormal Underground Magazine. So how cool is that our first show, we're sponsored by the magazine. Bob's a writer with the magazine. So I think that's really cool. And guys, I want to say that if you go to Paranormal Underground at live.com, and you just send a message to them, tell them that you saw the show, and you just also can say, if you want to give them a promo code that says TEPS 2020, that's TEPS 2020. If you give them that promo code, but you just say, hey, I heard about you on the Everything Paranormal Show. So if you message them, guess what? You're going to get an entire year of PDF version of the magazine. How cool is that? You're going to be able to experience this magazine for an entire year for free. It's going to come to you in your email in PDF form, high definition. Guys, that magazine is amazing. Okay? Amazing. Again, we got a writer here, Al, who's in the chat. He was on the cover not too long ago. So how cool is that? And we got a guest from this past episode, this past magazine that was just published in the April edition, Memphis Spirit and Rescue. Was it Spirit Memphis Ghost Spirit and Rescue? Something like that, right, Bob? So
yep,
they're looking at coming on the show in July sometime. So we've got some really cool guests on there. So guys, remember, go to that email, paranormalunderground at live.com. Tell them I sent you. Use that code TEPS2020. You're going to get that entire year of PDF magazine, high definition quality magazine. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. Go there, check it out. So that's it for my major, I think, announcements, Bob. I think that was the big ones I covered. Was me going
magazine too.
That
magazine. It runs 50 to 60 pages long.
Yes.
And it doesn't just deal with ghosts. It deals cryptids, UFOs. They have spiritual healing type stuff in there. Just a full range of paranormal activity.
Oh yeah, we probably could do an entire show on what's in the magazine. It's with the articles, the content that's in there every month. I'm telling you, it's and the funny thing is, I came across it when Bob and I met and became friends, good friends, almost a year ago. You know, he turned me on to the magazine, and ever since then, like every month, you know, I look forward to it coming in my email. I get to see who's on the cover, see what stories are in there. And if you guys have been wondering, how come you're not in the cover? How come you're not on the cover? Well, guess what, folks? One of these days, I'm just not going to tell you. So it's already been something we've talked about, but I got a special surprise. It's going to be down the road, guys. So trust me, it's not that I don't have the opportunity, because the good folks there, they're really good. Cheryl Knight and the crew over there, really good folks at this magazine. I'm telling you, good people. Bob can tell you that you can attest to it. It's overall just a great magazine. So yeah.
Actually, we went out on an investigation with them.
Yeah, there you go.
We went and seen Bobby Mackey's.
which wasn't the place I'm ever going back to, but it was fun. They're good people.
Nice. Yeah. Al said they're gonna be going that way in August. So,
Don't
he's
piss
talking
off
about
the
he's talking about Old South Pittsburgh and near Chattanooga. Well, I'm going to
Okay.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. All right, I'm going to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania this weekend. That Pittsburgh. I was wondering. I'm like, he's going to. I didn't realize there's like an Old South Pittsburgh near Chattanooga. But that's cool. But yeah. But no, Al, we got to get up about that cemetery too when I get back. We'll have to work out a date when you're not working and something. I don't know. We'll see. But we'll have to make that trek coming up. That's the Gates of Hell Cemetery. I'm really looking forward to that too. So I've got a lot of places that when I come back from Pittsburgh, I'm going to be hitting up as quick as I can soon. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. What do you got going on? What do you got coming up, Bob? Are you guys working on some good investigations right now?
Well, I'm trying to get the Orpheum Theater open up for us. In fact, that Memphis Ghost or rescue type organization, that team was in. Well, I've contacted them, and he found out that we're kind of on the same page. He's watched a few of your shows and can't wait to be on as a guest. But we're trying to get together. They've been there before, and they want to go from the metaphysical end or the spiritual end of it to try to help the little girl cross over. I'm going there just to try to get some information on what else is there. Of course, if he does his job, it'll be a short investigation for me because there won't be anything left to investigate. But we got that going on. We got a police officer that his daughter was using a Ouija board, wasn't closing it properly, practiced black magic in her bedroom. She's moved out. Now all kinds of stuff's going on in his house.
Right.
So we got that coming up. And then we got that community center I was telling you about. In fact, there was an article, I think last month or month before, in the magazine about it, where they had a haunted house there, and the place actually is haunted. And they'd kind of like to get to the bottom of it because the mayor says half the city staff won't go in there after dark or won't stay over because of the noises and the activity that goes on. So we're supposed to go back there and try to figure out what's going on. So I got a few things that's going to keep me busy.
Yeah. Now, kind of circling back to the tech of paranormal, is there anything that's kind of on your radar right now? I mean, I know that we're looking at maybe getting another, not Angel Phone, but what's called Angel Box. I want to try that variation of that from there. I've also looked around at some other potential ideas of building my own. I know that. Oh, I was going to say too. One thing I just noticed too is Matt Sorge from SRS Paranormal. He did a video was it today? Just a little bit ago, maybe, or I don't know. My wife was showing me, but right before the show, he was talking about body cams. I guess they're starting to utilize body cams a lot in the, I guess in Ghost Hunters, the show, but in all actuality, that's pretty good as well. A good use of body cams in the world of paranormal. What do you think about that?
If you're thin.
Well, I didn't say it was looking at you. Unless you're in front of the body cam.
I ain't saying anything here, but let's say you're maybe 2-3 pounds overweight, or a little more than that. You put on a body cam, start walking, I think it's going to be jiggling like Jello.
So
everybody watches it, they get sick.
So I'm not.
Motion sickness.
So I'm not going to be a good stabilizer for body cam. Okay.
No, I'm not going to use one. I told the wife, I says, underneath all this fat lies the body of a Greek god. And she says, no, that would be Buddha. But that's
right.
Here or there.
I know. All my footage is going to look like the Titanic. And this is a simulation of what it was like. The seas are rough today.
Yep.
Are you guys? Was that tremors when you were walking through that abandoned house? No, that's because I had pizza that night.
That was our fat guy with the body cam.
Right. Oh, Every time he talks,
Well,
he just moves
one
around.
of these days, I'll show you pictures of me when I was in my youth. When I was in the
Yeah.
Navy and I was a bodybuilder.
See, there you go.
18-inch arms, 50-inch chest, 30-inch waist. Now some of those numbers have moved around a bit, but
Right. I know that. I know that. I definitely can relate to that. Especially these last 10 years. God. It's like,
well, you know,
I used to be able to say, well, it was only a year ago when I started gaining weight. Then it was like, well, it was just a couple of years ago I started gaining weight. The next thing you know, I'm like, yeah, I just started gaining weight like 10 years ago. Like, dang it.
Yeah. I
God.
don't care. I can still see my shoes, so I ain't too worried about it.
Yeah, I know. I'm starting to get worried about it. The old eclipse,
Well,
everything's starting to get eclipsed now. So I'm like, all right, I gotta start doing something.
As you go through life, different things are important. You know, when you're young, it's you can beat everybody else at doing a certain thing, a competition, because you're totally involved with the ego of who you are in this lifetime.
Yeah,
And then as you get a little older, you get more involved with things that settle you down a bit. At my age, I'm looking at the spiritual, metaphysical aspects of everything. So it doesn't matter whether you're skinny, you're fat, or drug addict, or whatever it might be. When you're at the end of the line there, you've learned the lessons you should have, or it's your time to go because you taught somebody what they needed to know, and you're going to move on anyway. So no big deal.
right. My wife said I still call mine baby weight from having our son. He's 12 now.
You gotta be careful with wives, though. That you know that old saying, just fake you're dead, as they say. Just dress make me look fat. Just
Right.
clutch your heart, fall over, and you won't have to answer.
The camera adds 100 pounds to me.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what
I
they're
just-
talking about. That whole 10 pounds.
Yeah, all you gotta do is just tell them that it doesn't make you look any fatter than all your other dresses.
Right. Nice. Yeah, I don't ever dare say that because I'm like, honey, you look beautiful. You're fine. I don't ever try to comment on that. My
Yeah,
comments, I get in trouble if I open my mouth too much. I just gotta learn to just be like, nod.
Well, if the wife tells
Minimal comment. Just
Yeah.
yes.
I usually
yes.
end it. She'll say, "Look at that girl over there." I says, "I can't. I'm blinded by your beauty." Then game over. But anyway,
Right.
I think we covered enough stuff tonight, don't you think?
We definitely have covered quite a bit. I think we got a lot of good. I really do appreciate you bringing on a lot of those things because, like I said, a lot of people don't always get to see more than just the normal like K2 and audio stuff. They just see the normal stuff all the time, and it's kind of nice to see things, especially the Boo Buddy. I'm glad to see that in action because you had told me about it. I had heard about it. It was really cool to see it in action, and I didn't realize exactly how much it really functions with all of that.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh, it's worth the money. To me, it was at least.
yeah, I don't want to talk about that, honey. I don't want to talk about that because I'm just gonna get in trouble. I already served my punishment for that.
Yeah. Well, I was punished tonight anyway. We mentioned before the show. Been out in the yard, 80-degree weather, just working really, really hard all day long. Probably sweated out 5 pounds. Looking forward to coming in and just having a nice cold beer. And I was just heading towards the refrigerator. He said, "Hey Bob, this is Josh. What you doing 15 minutes from now?"
Yeah. I mean, because we were planning on doing this show like next week or something, and when unfortunately, my guests, their daughter got sick, so luckily Bob was able to come in for the rescue and give us some good content for tonight, and I think it was a good, fun show. I really enjoyed all the different. I really did. I really enjoyed all the different devices. I really did.
Yep. And I reverted to Diet Coke because I know it's a family show. But as soon as you go off there, that 6-pack's getting opened. That's another thing, investigators need. I've seen some teams go out there and hit the bottle or have a couple beers or something to get psyched up for the thing before the investigation. They've already lost, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, that's not me, anyways. I'm not gonna.
No,
I'm
me
not
neither.
gonna hit up anything.
After investigation, I want to be on my game because I go home. I start writing highlights immediately. I start listening to tapes until I'm so exhausted the sun's coming up. But that's where you find your stuff to begin with. Because you're just replaying the entire investigation in your head. And that's where a lot of this equipment here comes in handy. But
Yeah.
if you got Boo Buddy going, you got 2 tape recorders somewhere else, you got your own wrist recorder, you've got 20, 30 hours worth of investigating to do.
Yeah,
That's the
and
downs.
you got to find a good balance. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm retired. I got all kinds of time.
You do.
Unless God sees otherwise.
I don't need time. I need time right now. I do. I need time, but that's okay. I mean, all the things I'm doing will be worth it in the end, hopefully. And then I'll be able
There
to
you go.
sit and chill like you, and be able to spend a lot more time. And then I'll be able to probably get my Boo Buddy and FLIR camera.
Yeah, well, but about all that free time, I was lying. Anyway,
Well, listen, it was a
Yeah.
really great show. I love having you on. Your family now at this point, so love having you on. It was great seeing all of your equipment, guys out there. If you enjoyed this video, if you got any kind of use out of this video, by any means, please click that like button. Share. I mean, paranormal channels don't get very high on the algorithm, so anytime you can share this video, subscribe, send it to your friends, tell them to subscribe. Anytime you build us up on the internet, that always shoots us up the algorithm, and it helps to spread the word out there. So remember, guys, thank you all for joining me. I appreciate you guys. Were awesome in the chat tonight. We had a lot of people in the chat, a lot more than normal. I'm so happy to see that. Guys, thank you for the participation. And remember, seek the truth. We'll see you in the next one.
cool.